No, I looked at what it was before we entered executive, and there was nothing, there's no audio.
Yeah, it was just a placeholder. We saw that and thought we were.
All right, that's good. Trustee Chambers. how are
Yes,
you?
sir.
We're back on. Okay, so we're back in session. And I'd like to entertain a motion to
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move an authorized motion to give the authority to the president to proceed on the discussion and the personnel that we talked about during executive session.
Second.
okay, the motion's been made, properly second. Let's go. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Chairman Bruce,
yes,
President Allen,
Yes.
Trustee Archie.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Corbin.
Yes.
Trustee Dix.
yes,
Trustee Garcia.
Yes.
Trustee Harrison.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Jones Clement.
Yes.
Trustee Kirkland.
Yes.
Trustee Lancaster.
yes,
Trustee Levis.
yes,
Trustee Lawson.
Yeah.
Trustee May. Trustee Lewis.
yes,
Trustee Love.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Osara.
Yes.
Trustee Parker is a yes. Trustee Petty.
yes,
Trustee Ridley.
Yes.
Trustee Rochester.
yes,
Trustee Sebastian.
yes,
Trustee Simmons.
Yes.
Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
yes.
Trustee Walker.
yes,
Great. So I thought that before we close, well, first, is there any new business? There being none. Before we close, I thought I would give the new chair-elect and vice chair-elect an opportunity to make some comments. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Bruce. Chairman Bruce, you've done an outstanding job. Outstanding probably doesn't even, is not the right action. If there's one stronger than that, and that's what you've done. It's been an incredible thing. I watched this board go from kind of, as I described, in the ashes to a highly functioning board, and I just want to thank you. Our next step, in my opinion, is to become world-class, because you set us up for that. And to be a benchmark for all of higher education to really see and point to this board as the board that you want to look to emulate. And you know, our board survey outlined the three things that we really said we need to improve on. Public relations, the Lincoln story, and you hear all of that. You sit through any of these meetings, we're all over it. Succession planning, which Dr. Allen is doing a fantastic job with. And also fundraising, which we all have to come together and play a part in. And my life experiences have prepared me for this role, because Lincoln changed my life. You know, Lincoln, I owe everything to Lincoln. And my commitment to this board is I will repay Lincoln. I will repay Lincoln. I've been blessed to lead 2 Fortune 100 global sales organizations. It had in one time 1,400 people under my watch, and another time 1,700 people under my watch, and took it to new heights because they took it to new heights. I chaired 2 foundations. I'm currently due, and both know I'm stepping down because this role is the most important role I've ever had in my life, quite frankly, and I take it that way. You know, I believe in an inclusive style, leveraging resources and talents, no decisions in a vacuum. Clear communications, mutual respect is not optional. And, you know, a dedication that you'll see, because words can say anything, but you watch what people do. A dedication that will be second to none. I guarantee you that. I've spoken to every single person on this board one-on-one prior to this honor that you bestowed upon me today. And I know that everything we want is on the other side of hard. I clearly understand that. And I also know that no day is easy except yesterday. And I've always believed that. So I'm up for the challenge, prepared for the mission, excited about the opportunity to lead this great board. But I can't do it without every single person, and I need everyone's help. And I'll have an open book. You can call me, I'll answer. If I can't talk to you at that time, I will get back to you. Because anything you think I want to hear about, you know, hopefully I'll make some time. If I have to set up some office hours at a certain times that I'm available, I'll make those available to you. If I start getting overwhelmed, then I'll set up office hours. But I do want, and I commit to Dr. Allen, quite frankly, that, you know, I'm not Gerald Bruce, I'm Van Corbin, but however, you will be able to have all the things that a Gerald Bruce gave you. I guarantee you that, that's my word, you know, we talk a lot anyway. You always answer my call, I will always answer your call, and we'll make calls together. So I thank this board for giving me this opportunity. As a boy growing up in Philadelphia, that Lincoln gave a shot, I never, ever, 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 ever imagined that I'd have this honor bestowed upon me. I'll be honest with you. It's the proudest day of my life, quite frankly. It really is, because my daughter's already been born, my other daughter, my granddaughter been born, I've been married. So today is the proudest day of my life. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for
You only got 30 of us. You don't have 17, you only got 30.
Trustee Rochester, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, certainly. So I want to start by thanking you, Chairman Bruce, for your leadership over the past 4 years, because that's what shaped my commitment to the university and my service to the board. And I can't say enough how much you've made a difference and really has changed the trajectory of how we operate as a board. And it was very timely and very much appreciated. I also want to share a little bit that for me, attending an HBCU has been formative and changed the trajectory of my own life. It was not Lincoln, but as an immigrant who came to a country trying to find myself and find my way, being at an HBCU really helped me do that. And Lincoln is that place for many students who end up becoming world leaders, leaders in industry, and community leaders. That is the legacy that we want to protect and build on for the future. Leadership is a privilege, and I do not take this lightly. As trustees, we're called to be stewards of the legacy and the promise of Lincoln University. We're here to support management, the faculty, and our students. I believe in the essentiality of Lincoln, and it is an honor for me to serve in whatever capacity is needed as a board member, a committee chair, and now in board leadership. There is greatness in the DNA of Lincoln. I'm committed to working alongside our new chair and president and the board to advance the strategic vision of the university. And I thank you again for the great honor of trusting me with this leadership role. Thank you.
Trustee Lewis, new secretary of that board.
Well, again, what can I say that hasn't already been stated? It's an honor and a privilege, and thankful for the opportunity to serve in this particular capacity. Thank you, Chairman Bruce, as already mentioned, for your leadership. And I think I put a lot of it in my letter that was stated, but one fond memory for Chairman Bruce is during those dark days coming in, one of the first individuals that I had an opportunity to talk to was Chairman Bruce. He reached out. We had talked through a number of things, and it left an indelible impression on me. Maya Angelou said, you may not always remember the words that people say, but you remember how they made you feel. And one of the times, or oftentimes, when you're talking to Chairman Bruce, he has a unique way of making you feel like an audience of one, even though it's a number of folks in the room. So thank you for your leadership, sir. President Allen, what can we say? Madam President, looking forward to serving and undergirding your excellence and your leadership. I think we have a great team, as Chairman-elect Van Corbin said. We want to be best in class in terms of taking it. Now we're crawling, and then we were walking, and now we're off running. So looking forward to working with each and every one of you. I was trying to think of some crafty words because you're not to my MO, right? So. So I leave it like this: learn, liberate, and lead. Never heard that before, right? So learning, because growth, I believe, begins with curiosity. I believe in creating a culture where listening and reflection are continuous learnings for our foundation in every decision. Basically, one of the things that we want to do is continue to ask ourselves this question: how can we better afford ourselves the opportunity to serve the masses? Liberate, because knowledge and representation should empower and not limit. I will advocate for systems that remove barriers and increase accessibility and create spaces, safe spaces, where every person has the opportunity to thrive no matter their background, their identity, or their perspective. And finally, but not least, lead. Because leadership is not about position, it's about purpose. And one of the things that I always took to mind is that, and I teach my staff this, is that I embody collaboration over competition, progress over perfection, and together we can build something stronger and more inclusive that is sustainable and lasts. So thank you for your time, your attention, and your unwavering support as we endure this leadership role together.
So, I want to say that I'm really pleased with the leadership that is coming in. Chair-elect Corbin, Vice Chair-elect Rochester, and Vice Secretary-elect, Secretary-elect Lewis. Yeah, I've been asked a lot about, and from alums and others about, what happens next when you need. I feel very confident that what will happen next will be even better than where we've been. And I'm very confident in the leadership that's stepping in. The vision has been laid out, and I feel comfortable and happy that we will continue down this path. So before I make my farewell remarks, I want to thank Jalila Parker, who has been our secretary for the last 4 years. And Jalila has been, and I'm sure will continue to be, very helpful to this board. The relationships that she built at the governor's office and all of the things that you've done help us, including still talking me down off of a few things which don't need to be discussed here, but I have complete trust and confidence in you, and you've been extraordinarily helpful, and especially at some of the most difficult times. And I don't think people really have an appreciation for the contributions you've made. So thank you. And so I looked at you and I said, I'm gonna come to you. And you said, no, and I said, yes. And so I'm gonna ask you just to make a few comments.
Okay, well, I'm glad this will be the last time you're about to tell me. And thank you. I mean, we started out as strangers when you asked me to be on your slate as secretary. So I appreciate you trusting me and having confidence in my ability to support your leadership. So I'm just switching seats. I'm still committed to Lincoln. I'm just gonna hop over one. So Dunbar has to move down. I'm just gonna hop over one. But I'm definitely committed. This was again a voluntold position, but I love Lincoln. I have grown. Some of you have been strangers. We're now friends. And as long as the governor keeps me in this role, I'm going to fight into the end. So thank you for trusting me with that.
Thank you. So as I sit here and think about my farewell as chairman of the board, it's not just to say farewell, but to reflect on, the journey. It's with profound humility and gratitude that I do that. This has been a journey that has really tested us. It's taught, it's transformed, and it's not just been for me, it's been for us all. And serving as chair has been one of the most meaningful chapters of my professional life. But it's not really about me, this story, this journey, it's about us. It's about what we have done, what we have overcome, what we've committed to carrying forward. The true treasure of leadership is not how things are when you arrive, but how they have evolved. Lead. And I'd like to think that it's a little better now than it was when I started. And, my sort of personal mission is to be able to make a difference. And I think I've done it. It hasn't been an easy journey.
Not getting the sandwiches, wait, I see. Oh.
Dr. Chambers, you get to interrupt me anytime.
Wait a minute.
Let's look back for a second. 4 years ago, it was a really turbulent time. The board was divided. The world was emerging from a global pandemic. And we were trying to make decisions during that pandemic that were not going to be good for Lincoln University. We faced public scrutiny over our governance issues. We were in the news. And remember, I always said that if we're not in the news, no one's talking about us, we're probably doing our job very well. Shouldn't be leading the news, not the board of trustees. The trust was fractured, the confidence was shaken. And frankly, there were very serious questions about our ability to lead as a board and to lead Lincoln University to a brighter future. But we stepped in anyway and said, we're gonna lead this. And I have to say thank you to Bob, Kevin, Henry, because even before I became chair, before I was voluntold to be chair, we got together and decided, we just sort of saw around the room that what we were doing was not taking us where we needed to go. That's being kind. And so we just started meeting, talking about it. And then we went from talking to action. And it was Bob who said, after all of what we did and how we got past everything and got President Allen a new contract, he said, "You're gonna be the chair." And I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." And we made a deal, because Bob actually was gonna lead the board at that time. I said, "I need you." That's our deal. I'll run, you stay. And we agreed, here we are. So, when we started, I thought, we have to learn to lead ourselves before we can lead anywhere else, or anybody else. And so we started building this thing one by one by one, by step, by step, by step. We started with our executive committee. That's why I thanked everybody. Everybody who stepped in at that time and took over the leadership. We basically put in a whole new executive committee. And together, we started moving forward. We set as a vision And I was so happy to consistently hear it and see it in what you wrote to me. That we wanted to be a high functioning, high performing board. And I said, well, crawl before we walk, walk before we run. Because I knew it would take time. And that we had to be patient, but we had to be deliberate. And we had to be focused. And that we did. I won't go through all of the other things that we accomplished, because it was a lot. But the one thing that I'm most proud of is this board. How it is currently constructed. How we have so much more expertise than we had when I arrived. More talent, more skills, the engagement, the energy is more than I've seen in the 8 years that I had been here, the 4 years previous. And some of you are still new to this board, but you're engaged. Our retreats are way better attended than when I attended retreats 8 years ago. 8 years ago, there was a handful of people that showed up for the retreat. That was supposed to be our time when we could really lay out where we were going strategically. And so it's been difficult because we had to set a standard that says, here's the type, this is the profile of people we need on this board. You know, we need people that, and you're seeing it play out. You know, we have educational expertise with Corey and Dr. I'm sorry, Dr. Walker, Dr. Sarah. You know, we have, and Dr. Harrison. I apologize. But my point is, we brought on this expertise. We have CEOs, CFOs. That not that the title is everything, as I was told by someone, but it's what they bring. It's the experience they bring, fundraising, understanding strategically where we're going, what it takes to execute on a strategy, what it takes to create a vision, what it takes to make that vision become a reality. People that have done that, they know how to get us there. And that's the type of expertise and knowledge and experience that we need on this board. And that's what we have. And that's why I feel so good about our future. You know, I always talked about my grandfather. 100 years ago, he graduated. Proud of that. But I always bring it up to say one thing. And that is our job, your job, is to make sure that these students who will be here 100 years from now can say the same thing. It's the future we're focused on. I love my grandfather, I love him. But I'm not talking about 1921. I want to talk about 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. What are we doing now to be as great or greater than we are today? That we have extended that legacy. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited that the trustees have participated and started leading and giving, 100% giving for the last 4 years. Assuming that we get the 9 people that didn't pay yet this year. Well, to me, so I know we're gonna get close.
We do always pay it, Jim.
And, you know, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we have, as a board, zeroed in on our most important responsibility, and that is to hire and support the president. The evaluation process that we have now is solid. That was a problem for us. That's in place. We talked about it today. And so I think that where we are is we're at baseline. You know, that's a little tough to take, right? When you say you've accomplished so much, but you're at baseline. Well, that's because we started sort of negative. So to get to zero is a good thing. And that's how I view where we are and what I and this board and the leadership during my tenure has done. That's what we've done. We've established a foundation. We put the processes in place, policies in place. We re-looked at our bylaws to make sure that they're compliant, make sure that we are not violating the law as we once did. Our consent decree in large part will be done in October. And we'll be having that hanging over our head. So I want to say thank you. Thank you. I didn't do anything by myself. I provided the leadership, yes, but so did each and every one of you. You know, imagine the challenge that I felt each time we put more high-powered people on this board. My biggest challenge, how do I make sure that they get what they came here to do? How do I put them all to work? And I'll have to figure that out myself. Like, you're the type of people that will tell me what you want to do. And so I'm very, very thankful for what you have done. And as I said, I think we've built a foundation, but there is so much more to do. We saw everything that came forward in terms of our intention and all of the things that we have to do there. You know, we've got opportunity to raise more money. This is probably the last time you hear me say this, but I get this spiel all the time, and that is, you know, we're so fortunate that being a state-related school, that our capital budget is taken care of by the state. Because what that does is it gives us the opportunity to raise money, just focus on keeping our kids, our students in school. Other universities have to spend a whole lot of time, you know, with capital campaign. This is just about what could be. I mean, it's one thing to say, I'm not gonna give money for a new building. It's another thing, what can be more rewarding than to know that you gave money that gave a student, remember that number, 92% in first generation. You gave money, keep them in school, they graduated. Their life is on a whole nother trajectory. Yeah. And by definition, their family. And ultimately what? Our community. That's what we're doing. That's worth raising money. That's worth giving money. You know, I said my personal mission to make a difference. How can you? That's the way you make a difference. Absolutely does. So that's one. The other is, I think we should strengthen our partnership with the foundation because that's going to be important. I'm very excited about the board there and the work that they're doing and their new leadership and where they want to go, the way they're looking at it. Big thinker, big idea. Why? Because that's what they've done in their own lives. So we know if they've done it in their own lives, they can do it for us. They can do it for women. I think that the work that JP and this committee are doing to build our brand and promote the Lincoln brand is really critical. I think that we need to continue, as difficult as it may be, but I think it gets easier as the board gets better, to continue to recruit exceptional, well-connected individuals who can help us move forward. That's really important. It's hard. It's hard. Because there are names that come to us and people who come to us and want to be on our board. And we're setting a standard that says, look, these are the this is the profile of the people that we need that will help us move this institution forward. And I always say, you set that expectation because you know that that expectation, if it's met, will get you to where you want to go. But the reverse is also true. If you fall short of your expectations, you will fall short of your goal and your vision. So you've got to be a steward of ensuring that we meet those expectations no matter what, no matter how difficult it may be. I love the statement, everything's on the other side of hard. Leadership is hard. It's hard. And we all know that. And you know that. And you're all leaders. And this board is leading the institution along with our president. And so I invite you to do that. Leverage the relationships you have. We're going to need to work closely with the AALU and build that relationship. There may be some challenges there. And let's continue to be a high functioning visionary. And there are things that I'm not mentioning here that you'll be doing that I haven't even thought of, and I hope that's the case. Because that's how you build on the foundation that's been laid. So, finally, I just say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the fun we had. Trash talking. I made a few quotes here that leadership is not a title, it's a trust. Not measured by how loudly you speak and how deeply you build. And so, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but please take your role as a leader of this institution seriously. Take it to heart and take Lincoln to new heights. Thank you. Okay, so the meeting is adjourned.
You gotta get the gavel.
I'll let you
All right.
Kevin Walker was on.
You got on.
He did, it's good.
Your son's grand, his son must be.
Exactly.
That's what we saw someone in the background. I think that was the fun.
Where's Lapa?
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, thank you.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Had a family tonight.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
They're flying safely now.
Right.
That's right.
I got it. Probably right. Friday. For a couple of weeks. So, this is like, you can imagine it.
Yeah.
I will.
Oh, and you're on, yes, not a You and I both, you know, it's like, you know that. Makes us back. I think you're right. I'm gonna say, okay.